Hello, amazing business owners. Welcome back to another episode of Bold with Brooke. We are in the heat of SEO Summer. I am super excited about today's episode. This one's going to be shorter because we have had so many episodes lately. And we just got to break it up. We got to break it up into smaller, bite-sized chunks because I know it can be super overwhelming. So today we are going to talk about 3 must-have tools for SEO and how to use them. I know it sounds like a lot, and I promise SEO is this big, huge umbrella of strategies and tools and options, but we're going to break it down so that you have some quick, concise content and education on how to actually use these things. If you have not grabbed it yet, make sure to go to the website and grab Brooke's SEO Starter Pack. You can get that at boldwithbrooke.com/SEO because that has all of the resources, tools, all of the help that you might need to get started with SEO. If you are started and you're like, Brooke, I want to go further, my course, SEO for Photographers, which, spoiler alert, it also applies to other industries as well. It's not just for photographers. That's just what I called it back in the day. It's SEO, the number 4, photographers.com. You can grab the course there, but if you would prefer to have a little bit of accountability and help that's a little more one-on-one, I highly recommend Bold Marketing Academy. You can get more details at boldmarketingacademy.com. And that is where you can get personalized accountability and coaching. We have 2 coaching calls every month, plus all of my courses and marketing materials are in there, as well as templates and resources and emails and all the things. I can't wait to help you with all of it. Let's listen in to 3 must-have tools when it comes to SEO. Hello there, gorgeous business owners. Welcome to Bold with Brooke, the podcast for creative business owners to learn the marketing and business skills they need to get more clients and design their lives on their terms so we can actually make a living doing what we love. Am I right? I am your host, Brooke Summer, and I'm an entrepreneur, educator, and champion of women, reminding them to embrace and step into their power. I'm bringing almost 20 years of business and marketing experience straight to you to help you get more clients and run a sustainable and successful business without burnout or overwhelm. Let's jump into today's topic. Hello, amazing business owners. Welcome back to another episode of Bold with Brooke, the podcast and place to be if you want to make a living doing what you love, because we are running businesses, we are building empires, right? If you are just joining us, things are heating up. We are almost to the end of our SEO Summer series. Someone asked me in the community recently, and if you're not in the community, you really should be. Go to boldwithbrooke.com/community to join us. But someone asked me, where can I find your SEO information? Because I put out so many free resources and tools and education. And she was wondering, and I looked through my stuff and I was like, I have created so much, but none of it is on the podcast. Why is that? So that's where we're at. Whether you are just joining us today or whether you have been with me through the entire series, I want to encourage you to go grab Brooke's SEO Starter Pack. You can get that at boldwithbrooke.com/SEO. And that has a ton of templates and resources and tools and terms and dictionaries and all the things, as well as all of these podcast episodes will be put into it when they are complete and when they are ready. And we are in part 5. This is SEO Summer part 5. Just to recap, episode 119 is SEO Summer Part 1, which is SEO 101 terms, what to have on every page. Episode 120 is SEO Summer Part 2, keywords. How do I figure them out? Where do I put them? Episode 121, SEO Summer Part 3 is first steps. What do you need to do when it comes to starting to build your SEO? Episode 122 is SEO Summer Part 4, 3 myths about SEO. Spoiler alert, I busted them all. I promise you'll want to listen. And this is episode 123, SEO Summer Part 5, 3 must-have tools for SEO and how to actually use them. Now, when it comes to how to actually use them, I actually struggled with whether I should put that in the title because the reality is that these tools are extremely in-depth. And the things that I can give you on this podcast are not going to be a 100% complete tutorial. This is going to be a very high-level overview because Those tools have their own tutorials that are well beyond some of the things that I even know and teach. But I also have my SEO course, which is available for purchase at SEO4photographers.com, and that is a number 4. Or if you want to join Bold Marketing Academy, you get access to my marketing courses, including SEO and email marketing, but then you also get 2 coaching calls every month as well. So if you want to go more in depth with any of these tools and learn how to use them and kind of really dig into some of the whys behind this, as well as some really actionable steps to take forward, I want to encourage you to check out those tools. You definitely don't have to. This is free education, but it is something that I wanted to break down and put into very small, bite-sized pieces because I know so many people are overwhelmed by SEO that I wanted to break it down. So we are going to talk all about 3 must-have tools for SEO. The first one, now this sounds like kind of a duh, but the first one is going to be a website. That seems like kind of a silly statement, but I have had so many people that come to me and say, I don't have a website at all. Can I still use SEO? The short answer is yes, but you don't have as much control over it as you would with other tools. Now, as we discussed in one of the other episodes, YouTube is actually the number 2 search engine in the world. So we all know of Google. Google is typically the one that comes to mind when we think of SEO, but the reality is that YouTube is owned by Google. They work very closely together, and YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world. Do you have to have a website? No. Do you have more control if you have a website and more opportunity to actually rank in the list of websites and results when it comes to what people are searching for? Yes. In my opinion, I really think that if you are running a business, having a website is going to benefit you over and over and over again. There are so many things I do with my website that are simply beyond just, hi, here's my website, here's what I do. I use my website for so many different things. And when it comes to a website, there are so many options, and this is not a website series. I have done so many episodes on website mistakes, website tips. I teach email marketing, SEO, website strategy. So there are so many things that I can walk you through when it comes to choosing a website. For me, WordPress has unparalleled SEO capabilities. I will say a very close second is becoming Squarespace. Squarespace has some really, really great tools for SEO, as well as building a super easy website. So you have some options when it comes to websites. People are always asking me, what about this? And what about that? And what about others? And really, there are so many different tools. You can benefit from SEO regardless of what tool you're using. The one that I might call out is Wix, is something that does not get along very well with Google. They say their problems have been resolved. I have some students who would say otherwise, so just be cautious of that. WordPress and Squarespace are typically the top 2, WordPress being the number 1 website platform in the world. Squarespace is coming in hot though. They're coming in with some really, really great features and SEO capabilities. So the number 1 tool that you need to have for SEO, in my opinion, is a website. Again, can you build a YouTube channel that benefits from SEO? Yes, you can. Can you build a podcast that benefits from SEO? Yes, you can, as evidenced by my podcast. But I also take advantage of my website and putting the show notes as blog posts on my website. So that it's definitely something to consider. I really recommend that you have a website, even if it's just a very simple 1-page website. I have a little story for y'all. Recently, I've been working with a charitable organization that had kind of a messy website. It was out of date. They had paid someone to work on it for a while and they weren't working on it. And so it was just kind of a mess. Not because of anything they had done or anything that they didn't do. Quite frankly, it was just kind of a mess because too many people were trying to work on it at once. Because it was such a mess. Links weren't working, images weren't working. There were so many parts to this that were not working properly. And in the end, I asked them, do you want me to just set up a quick 1-page website? They were stunned. They were so excited. She goes, this looks better than anything we've had in years. And it's just 1 page. Okay. So a website does not have to be super complicated. Can it be? Yes, it definitely can be, but it does not have to be super complicated. I really want to encourage you to look into having at least a 1-page website, even if that website is just something super simple that looks similar to a link tree that has buttons on it. Okay, it's still a website. You're still gaining domain authority, and you're still going to start building that history when it comes to SEO. Number 1 must-have tool for SEO is a website. Number 2, Man, I debated breaking these up. I kind of put them both into one basket because they're both Google products, and that is Google Search Console and Google Analytics. Again, two different products, two different websites, but they work together. Let me talk about the differences between the two first. With Google Search Console, this website specifically focuses on organic search traffic and how a website performs in those search results. Oh, you know what? Another reason to have a website is because you can put it into things like Google Search Console. Gives you more data. Okay, sorry, side note. Google Search Console data comes directly from the Google Index, and it provides insights into a website's visibility, such as what words are helping people find the site, how often it's appearing in search results, and if Google sees any problems, things like bounce rate or load times. It can also help improve technical optimizations. However, Google Search Console does have some limitations, like a delay. It's a very slight delay before it processes and reports data, which can make information in reports 2 to 3 days old. So it's not real time, but 2 to 3 days. I'm not checking mine real time anyway. Google Search Console also only retains data for 16 months, and it doesn't integrate with other platforms. So it's free, and you can get a lot of information for it. And if you listen to my last few episodes, you know that you really need to put that on your website. It is well worth it, but it is not by itself the only tool that you need to be using. Search Console can tell you the position of your site for keywords. It can identify your high traffic pages, look at your highest click-through rate queries. And if you're not familiar with a click-through rate, what that means is Google search results show your site in the search results. Yay, we're ranking. That's awesome. But does someone actually click on your site? That is a click-through rate. And you can see that if your page is shown 100 times and only 5 people click on it, that would be a 5% click-through rate. You can also monitor your click-through rate over time. Look at your impressions, how many times your site was shown in search results. You can also look at your average position over time. So you can look at your highest and lowest ranking pages. Maybe you have one page that's ranking really, really well and the others not so much. You can look at why that is. And that's all information that you can see in Google Search Console. Google Analytics, which is kind of the other side to this Google web coin for organic traffic that is not paid and not Google Ads. Google Analytics focuses on user behavior and website performance. This is not search performance. This is website performance and user behavior, which includes websites and mobile apps as well. So this is JavaScript tracking on web pages, and it collects user behavior metrics, such as where do you live? Where are these visitors coming from? What pages do they view? And what does someone do on the site? It can also go even deeper for conversion tracking, funnel level type stuff. And that's not really what we're talking about in this series, but it gives you a ton of really, really great information. One thing to note is with the updates, with the algorithms and privacy concerns, Google Analytics 4, which is where we're at right now, only tracks website visitors that consent to cookie tracking. So when you open up a website and you get that annoying pop-up that says, "Are you okay with cookies?" That is what we're talking about here. When you click accept, you are consenting to this type of tracking. And just so you know, it's not that you're doing something shady. This is pretty consistent across most websites. Okay, so don't feel like you're asking for personal information. You're not asking for people's firstborn, blood type, social security. That is not the case here. It's just allowing Google Analytics to look at where you live so they can see, do they have a lot of visitors from one country versus another, if it's something that is important to you. The things that you can take a look at in Google Analytics: you can see your most read blog posts or web pages. You can see your least read blog posts or web pages. You can see traffic source. That is a really, really great one to watch, because if you see, for instance, a ton of people coming to your site from, let's say, Instagram, you could be like, what did I do there? I need to repeat that. You can also see your audience data. So who is looking at your page? Do you have a whole bunch of moms in Colorado looking at your page? How do you know they're moms? You can see other stuff too. Where are they leaving your website? This is called an exit page. So maybe there's a page on your website that's just really turning people off and they don't want to hear it. You can tweak that page to try and keep people on your website to the point that they contact you instead of leaving or exiting your website. Another bonus in Google Analytics is the device. You can tell what type of device people are using to view your website. Why do you care about that? Well, because if your site is not responsive, and if it's not, y'all, this was a requirement like years ago, but if your site is not responsive, meaning that it doesn't change to a mobile-based website for a mobile device, you could be losing users who click through to your website, and it's really hard to read and it's really hard to look at. Your site should absolutely be responsive. It's been a requirement for quite a while, but this will show you what type of device. Do you want to optimize it even more for mobile devices? If you see 80% of the people who are looking at your website are looking at it on their phone, that might be something to consider when you're designing your website to make it more mobile friendly. When you're looking at Google Analytics, you can also see what page people are spending time on. Okay, we talked about most read and least read. You can also see how much time they're spending on each page. If you wrote a really, really long article that's a cornerstone piece, you love it, it's tons of great information, but people are only on there for like 2 seconds, maybe there's a reason. That might be something you want to tweak. There is so much great information in Google Analytics, and you can pull all of this data that will help influence your choices when it comes to website design and keywords. And what do I want to show here? Is this page something I want to keep? All of those things when it comes to your overall website and SEO strategy. The third, number 3 tool that is a must-have tool for SEO is Yoast for WordPress. And Squarespace has something that's similar now called SEO Space for Squarespace. Now, you might be asking, Brooke, why are you only sharing 2 website platforms when all of these other websites have options too? And they do. And I can't possibly share all of the options because there are so many. There are hundreds. But these 2, Yoast and SEO Space, cover a lot of websites. If you have questions or want to find something that's similar for your own platform, ask your website provider, or if you have someone that helps you with tech stuff and websites and all those things, they might have a recommendation as well. I'm going to talk primarily about Yoast because that is what I use on my WordPress sites, but SEO Space is very similar and they have a few different options. Again, in Brooke's SEO Starter Pack, which you can get at boldwithbrooke.com/SEO, I have screenshots of both of these so that you can see what to enter and where and what this looks like. If you want to look at it before you actually install it, that's an option. For Yoast, it is a plugin, and Squarespace, it's an attachment as well. I'm sorry, I don't even know what Squarespace calls this. Maybe plugins, extensions, tools, I don't know. But it is kind of a piggyback to the website platform. All right, so I'm going to talk primarily about Yoast. Yoast SEO is a WordPress plugin that helps optimize a website for search engines. It is widely considered one of the top SEO plugins, and it has millions of active installations. I have been using this for a very long time. Highly recommend. If you're like, what is the word you are saying? It is Yoast. So it's spelled just like toast, but instead of a T at the beginning, it's going to be a Y. Yoast SEO has so many different tools to help with SEO, and there are free and paid versions. I have both. I've used both. You can start with free, and if you decide you want to go further, you can absolutely pay for it later. I believe it's like $70 a year, but I'll have to double check on that. Yoast can do so many things for you though. First, it'll give you an SEO analysis. So it'll look at how well your content and your formats are optimized for a specific keyword to rank really well. And it will give you, and this can drive you crazy, drives me crazy, it will give you a grade. So it'll give you a red, orange, yellow, or green. And trying to get that green sometimes, y'all, I'm like, what else do you want from me? Because it'll tell you exactly how that post is going to rank or how well it will do when it comes to a given keyword. It will also go over and do previews of snippets. So it will show you how Google displays a snippet or a description in the search results so that you can help optimize the titles and the description so that it looks the way that you want it to look when it's showing in the search results. There's also readability tools. Remember how we've been talking a lot about not writing for robots, but instead actually writing for humans? This will help create content that's appealing to both readers and search engines because we don't want to write like robots. It will also give you a keyword analysis and optimization suggestions, so it will help you learn about related key phrases and synonyms. So impressed with myself that I just said that word properly, by the way, because I usually mess it up. And it can recognize variations of different key phrases as well. It will also create an XML sitemap. And if you're like, Brooke, what the hell is an XML sitemap? It is a file that lists a website's URLs in extensible markup language, which is XML. And that is the format that it will list all of these pages in. And it's designed to help search engines like Google and Bing and Meta and all the things crawl and index a website more efficiently. So what happens with search engine optimization is Google's little, what we used to call meta crawlers. Like, I haven't heard anyone use that term in a while, but it kind of like reminds me of little bugs crawling, which is super creepy. And I didn't like it for a long time. But it has little robots that go out over the internet and it says, oh, look at this site. We're going to help this one rank here. And oh, look at this site. It looks like this one is about this. And it will go through all of the websites on the internet. And that XML sitemap adds a structured data to a website so that it makes it easier for Google to see everything. Yoast is extremely helpful, especially if you are not a techie person. Remember in our last episode, we talked about the 3 myths and how you do not have to be a super tech person in order to implement SEO. This is especially true if you are using something like Yoast or SEO Space. You can get so much help just from these little plugins. They are truly amazing. And I understand more about SEO than the average person, and I still use them. They are so helpful. Yoast is like my bestie. I use that thing all the time. Highly, highly recommend. So 3 must-have tools for SEO. First, a website. Again, can you do it differently? Yes. Do you want to? Maybe not. Up to you. Number 2, partnership of Google Search Console and Google Analytics. And number 3 is Yoast SEO or SEO Space for Squarespace or whatever SEO plugin or tool you want to use on your own website. I know that I am throwing a ton of information at you in all of these episodes. And I wanted to keep this one short because I want you to stay on top of doing the work. Because I want you to not just be listening, but to actually be doing the things that you need to do. And again, if you remember, the one thing I told you to do right now is install Google Search Console on your site. That will give you the data. Even if you don't do anything with any of this information for 3 months, you're like, Brooke, I got to come back to these podcast episodes. I understand. Life gets busy. Kids are going back to school. But please, please, please get Search Console installed on your site and analytics as well. These are 3 tools that will help you immensely when it comes to working with your SEO. And if you loved this and you're like, Brooke, thank you so much. How can I thank you and give you a big ol' hug? I would be so honored if you would head over to iTunes and leave a review. If you're like, Brooke, how do I get there? You can go to boldwithbrooke.com/iTunes. Go ahead and pause. I'll wait because that is what allows us to have amazing guests and keep producing this free education to help more people. Those reviews are like a little podcast currency, a thank you, and we appreciate all of them. If you need more help with this and you're like, I am lost, please consider joining Bold Marketing Academy. It is open during SEO Summer because I want to make sure that you can get in, get the information, and ask your questions so that we can start moving forward. Remember, SEO is a long-term strategy. We're not going to see like something blow up overnight. It's not going to be a viral thing where you can see 1 million likes and comments and shares. It doesn't work that way. Join Bold Marketing Academy. You get 2 coaching calls with me every month in addition to all of my courses. It is worth well beyond the cost. And I would love to have you. I would love to know some of your biggest aha moments or takeaways. You can share them in the community at boldwithbrooke.com/community. Our little sides area, our little section, our little VIP section of Facebook. Or you can take a screenshot and tag me on social at Bold with Brooke pretty much everywhere. I am super excited to see what you do with your business and how you change the world because what you do matters. This is one way that you move through the world and impact people around you in the way that you want to. And it's time to step into that power and own it fully. I can't wait to see what you do. Have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me today and listening in. You can find all of the show notes for this and every episode over at boldwithbrooke.com/podcast, where you can also find all of the links or resources mentioned. I can't wait to work with you. Have an amazing rest of your day.